In any organization, you've got these digital keys that can unlock pretty much everything. We call them privileged accounts. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you protect them using something called Privileged Access Management, or PAM. We're actually going to build a digital fortress right here, from the ground up, so you can see exactly how it all clicks together. So let me ask you a question. What's the single biggest, most often invisible threat to your company's data? Well, it's probably not what you think. It's not always some super sophisticated hacker from the outside. More often than not, the danger is already inside. And the numbers? They're just staggering. A whopping 86% of data breaches happen because somebody's credentials got compromised and abused. Just think about that for a second. It's not about attackers smashing down the door. It's about them finding the key you left out and just walking right in. And this problem? It's getting worse, and it's getting worse fast. The use of stolen credentials in cyber attacks has jumped 71% in just the last year. This is not a small problem, you know? It's basically an epidemic, which makes locking down those powerful accounts more critical than ever before.
It's really no surprise then that the big industry analysts, like Gartner, are sounding the alarm. They've come right out and said that PAM products, they should be a top priority for every single chief information security officer out there. And hey, when Gartner tells you to pay attention to something, you know it's serious.
So what is PAM really? Well, it's a whole cybersecurity strategy. It's not just a tool, it's a complete approach, and it's laser-focused on one mission: securing, controlling, and monitoring access to your organization's most critical systems, what some people call the keys to the kingdom. Okay, to really wrap our heads around PAM, let's use an analogy. Let's pretend we're building a digital fortress. The very first step, the foundation for our entire defense, is getting a handle on two really basic things. Who are we trying to protect it from, and what exactly are we protecting? This really boils down to two fundamental ideas. On one side, you have the who. That's our users and our teams. And on the other, you have the what. These are the critical systems they need to get to. You just can't build any walls or set any rules until you know who you're talking about and what you're trying to defend. Getting this part right is absolutely step one. So let's dive into the who. A user can be a simple individual account, or it can be pulled from a bigger company directory, like LDAP. Now, to make life easier, we group them together, like the database admins or the network engineers. But the real magic is the role you give them, because that's what spells out exactly what they can and can't do. Now, check this out. Roles are basically just pre-packaged permission sets, and it makes things so much easier. An identity admin, that's your God mode user. They can do everything. A resource admin, though, they only manage the resources and the rules. The session admin is kind of like a security guard watching the monitors. And the regular PAM user, they can't change a thing. They can only connect to what you've specifically allowed. It's simple, and it's really effective. Now, on the other side of this whole equation is the what. And a resource is really just anything valuable you need to lock down. We're talking servers, both Linux and Windows. We're talking network gear like routers and switches. Could even be a specific workstation or single critical application. The rule of thumb is simple. If it's important, you define it as a resource so you can protect it. And hey, just like we did with users, we can group our resources together. And this is a massive time saver. I mean, think about it. Instead of making 100 different rules for 100 different web servers, you just pop them all into one group. And now, bam, one single security rule covers all of them at once. That's how you manage things at scale. Okay, so our foundation is poured, we've defined our who and our what. Now we get to build the walls of our fortress. This is where we define the actual rules of engagement. This next layer isn't just about who can access what, but also from where they can do it and when. The first type of rule is all about time. With a time range policy, you can say, hey, this person can only log in during these specific hours. A classic example is a contractor. Maybe they only get access between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. If they try to log in at 8 p.m. on a Saturday, sorry, automatically blocked. Next up is a rule about location, or where. A source IP policy is like a digital gatekeeper for your network. You can say that your critical database server, for instance, can only be accessed from IP addresses that are physically inside your main office. So if someone tries to log in from a random coffee shop, access denied. It's a really simple but powerful geographic fence. All right,
Now for the really fine-grained control, the access policy. This is what decides what a user can actually do after they've connected. Do you want to force them to use multi-factor authentication? Do you want to record their entire session as a video for your records? Or maybe you want to block them from even being able to type certain dangerous commands. This is where you set up all those nitty-gritty behavioral rules. So we've got our building blocks ready. We have our users, our resources, and a powerful set of rules. Now it's time for the big moment, where we connect all these pieces together to forge a single, secure connection. And the process is it's perfectly logical. To create what's called an access rule, you start with the who, let's say our network team group. Then you pick the what, our routers group. You decide how they'll connect, maybe using SSH, and then you just attach the rules we just built, the weekday only rule, the office IP rule, and the session recording rule. You click grant access, and just like that, a very specific, very secure pathway is now live. So after all this work setting things up, what's the big payoff? Well, by creating this structured system of who, what, where, when, and how, you gain something that's frankly priceless. You get real security, born from complete control and total visibility. And the benefits here, they're just huge. I mean, think about it. You can record a session and then later search the text of every command that was typed inside that video. Or how about an approval workflow where a manager has to literally click an approve button before a developer can touch a critical production server? This stuff is a game changer. It's a fundamental shift in how you control and audit access. And this right here, this is the ultimate goal. You take what was probably your biggest vulnerability, all these powerful, unwatched accounts, and you totally flip the script. You turn them into a well-understood, heavily defended, and fully audited corporate asset. You're moving from chaos to control. So I guess I'll just leave you with this final thought. Your privileged accounts really are the keys to your entire digital kingdom. So the only question left to ask is, do you actually know who's holding all those keys? And more importantly, do you know what they're doing with them?